What's up, everyone? I'm joined today by Simple Plan. When we did this the last time, it was Slam Dunk, 2019, when things were simpler and better and just more peaceful and, you know.
Things were great. What do you mean?
I know, right? I want to probably start out by mentioning this tour, this Hard as Rock tour. Great tour poster.
Thank you.
Props to whoever designed it. Are you pleased with like how you're represented?
Yeah, I am. I think it came out great. I think it was funny. Obviously, it's in Europe, so it's a bit of a nod to all the amazing monuments that are here, and it's funny, and it worked very well with the title, so came out perfectly. I liked I'm on the horse. I like that.
He put himself on the top. Did you notice?
I did notice there's secret messaging.
Yeah, but you got you're like the king of the sea, you know? No.
I knew he was going to pitch it that way.
I would have liked to be more like Sebastian and Jeff, like the, no clothes muscle thing, but I gave that to them. Yeah.
How benevolent. Okay. Obviously, you're like the veterans of this tour, but touring with younger bands, as you've done in the past, as the time goes by, you might not be as excited, to be in the city for the 15th time. And is there anything about like their spirit or their approach to touring where you like can learn something from them?
Not to sound cocky, but I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I think that
They can learn from us.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say.
No, actually, I think it's really cool to have, like in a bill like that, because it feels like it's special. It feels like it's an event. We've toured with state champs before. We've very rarely toured with Mayday Parade before, maybe the Warped Tour, but never like officially on our own tour. So to put them together, to put the three bands together, and with Ariel on top of that, I think it creates this kind of really special event. And right now, post-pandemic, with so many bands touring, so many concerts in every city every week, you want to offer that value. People, if they're going to spend their hard-earned money on a show, you want to give them something that when they're going to come, every song is going to be like, oh yeah, I know that song. I'm so stoked to be here. Like every band was great. And that was the idea. As far as like, being inspired by them, I think it's always cool to have different generation. I think it's interesting because it's like a cycle. I think some bands, sometimes they're influenced by the earlier bands like us. And then we listen to what they do and we're like, oh, that's kind of a cool twist on the style, and then it's like a full circle. Like kind of you're influencing them, they're influencing you. But it's cool to have the energy. They seem to be really happy. I think they haven't toured Europe as much as we have, so to play these way bigger rooms than they're used to, I think it brings a lot of energy and it's exciting for them. So it's kind of contagious in a way. And I think for us, it's after being here with Sum 41 to come back and play lots of the same rooms like here, and to see our shows just getting bigger and bigger. It's just, I think it gets us very pumped up for the future and very kind of like energized and very excited for what's next.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay. All right.
Well, I don't know what we could learn from them. And then obviously there's stuff to learn from them, but I think that we're not old enough yet where we've lost that excitement and energy. You know what I mean?
That's what I was getting
at.
So
maybe in 10 years, if a band that's, in their 30s opens up for us, might give us, a run for our money and be like, oh man, we got to step it up. But we still got it. So.
Okay. That's great to hear.
Yeah. And if we're not excited, then we're good enough actors to.
There you go.
To the people out there, we looked excited as fuck.
The whole tour is literally from first show to last show. Everything is completely sold out. I mean, it's amazing. It's great to see the fan base growing in Europe. So yes, I just feel like it's kind of a blast, and like who wouldn't be super stoked and excited when that happens,
Definitely. No, definitely. It'd be counterintuitive to play in front of people who are screaming at you and you're like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But it happens, Anyway, moving on. I was shocked. I was shocked to find out that I heard in an interview that you wrote lyrics. I know you write together, but you write lyrics first, melody second. I was shocked because for me, it's the melodies that are so infectious, and I'm a melody first person. First, I'm like, oh, this is real catchy. And then like, what are they saying? What are they singing about? So can you walk me through two songs on the record that I think are that like got me the most, which are Wake Me Up and The Antidote. For me, those two melodies are it.
Let me describe it, because it's not actually not quite accurate how you described it.
Okay, please.
So it's not all lyrics first, then melody. It's kind of like a blend of both, where something like The Antidote, if I can walk you through it, is that usually Chuck comes up with like a general theme or a title, real catchy, and then I figure out how to sing that part. So like if you say, oh, I have a song that was called, The Antidote, then I'm like, oh yeah, it could be about, what is the antidote? Okay, well, all people, someone is your antidote. And then I think in my head, okay, you're the antidote. Okay, and then I go, yeah, and then finally eventually land on, you're the antidote. So that melody was written to that lyric. And then all of the other melodies are generally written first, and then we put, it's kind of in the middle. It's not really exactly so, because I know a lot of bands basically demo out full na songs and then put words to it. We definitely have never done that, and I don't ever want to do that.
So many options you could do in terms of melody, right? Yeah. So
and then there's other bands that write all the lyrics and then sing to that. I think it's kind of a blend of both, right? So a lot of times there'll be a piece of lyric that will be the anchor, and then after that, okay, well, if my chorus lands in "You're the antidote," what could the start be? Okay, every time, and actually, it's kind of like it kind of comes together at the same time in a weird way. So, yeah, it's not one or the other, more a blend of both. But definitely, most of our biggest songs, like "Welcome to My Life," like "Perfect," like but I'm trying to think of other albums, later stuff. "The Antidote," "Wake Me Up," Actually, "Wake Me Up When the Nightmare's Over" is a melody that I can't. It again, that one was more melody first. It was like I put together a chorus, but when I mumbled something, it sounded like I was saying "da da 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 nightmare's over," and then both of us went like, "Wake me up when this nightmare's over." So it's kind of a blend of both. So
got it.
Paradise. We started. I just feel like we need to have that hook, that anchor, that subject, because there's so many. Like Pierre is such an amazing songwriter for melodies that we could do this all day and literally never be able to choose. Like, okay, this is great, this is great, this is great. But when you are able to anchor a really cool title or word or theme or like a direction lyrically to a great melody, then that's when the magic really starts to happen. And for me, it's like there's nothing more magical than writing like a few words and the notes app and the phone, and then hearing it come to life and singing with chords on it. It's just like, whoa. Like I knew this had potential, but then you see it and it's just like, wow, it's the best moment when we're able to find that big idea,
Yeah. Do you ever contribute with melodies specifically?
It's kind of like if you were playing hockey and you're at my level and you're trying to play with like Sidney Crosby or Alex Ovechkin, Ovechkin.
Don't know who they are, but I get the
try to offer opinions. I try to offer little tidbits here and there, but really Pierre is the architect of the music and the melodies. And then I think I'm the outside observer that can offer sometimes a suggestion or sometimes an opinion. Like I think that's catchier. I think that's best because I'm not as musically talented. So sometimes I'm the common folk kind of person that can say like, I like that. Does that make sense? That fair?
Yeah, and I think he has contributed once in a while in some melodies, but not as the same way that I can. But definitely, it's an interesting.
It works for us.
It works.
Yeah.
How do they say? Well, power couple obviously is going for like dynamic duo.
Yeah,
Exactly.
There you go.
What would be our power couple name?
That's a good question.
Pierre.
P-Chuck.
Yes, I like
Pierre.
it both. I like it both.
Yeah.
Celebrity couple name.
There
You go. Wow.
I like it.
Nice. Even
I'm
I
in
got
with
that.
that.
Wow. Okay. There you go.
Make it even more gross. You could say Piuk.
Yuck. Hey, we
Yuck.
could be like the new writing name. Yo, you try writing with these guys. Puck, they're so good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's very like elusive. Keeps
Smashes, man.
Nice.
That sounds like a slap shot.
Exactly. Top shelf.
Moving
We got
beyond
more.
the hockey references that for me. Okay.
Yeah.
So a few years ago, it was at Slam Dunk. I think I was very honored to be invited to listen to some demos that you guys were working on at that point. And some of them have made it onto the album. Some of them haven't. Are the songs that didn't make it initially on the album going to find their way into the spotlight?
I think that eventually there will be a home for at least the good songs, because there are some songs that just never should see the light of day, But I remember on our third or fourth record, we must have written like 75 to 80 songs. So there are a lot of songs out there that never saw the light of day. There will be a time, I think that we should at some point, Simple Plan, put out like Weezer did, like, Gems and whatever. There was a thing they put out demos. We'll do it eventually. So, and if not that, the ones that are worthy will hopefully eventually maybe find a home with another artist,
Maybe a nice segue to the next question with regards to you writing, producing with other artists. So you're doing that. I think Jeff has got like a restaurant on the side or something. I know Sebastian is doing like podcast things and stuff still. Do you have a side hustle? Because I don't know anything about you. Is this your life? Is this
is it.
Is this your
That's all
thing?
I got.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
That's all I got. Yep. No secret talent, no nothing.
Okay.
I play golf on the side, but that's not a professional endeavor. Tennis, hockey.
Okay.
That's it.
Chuck's side
That's enough for me.
Well, it's because realistically, Chuck's side hustle is managing this band. So we all get to, when we have time off, we take time off, and then he gets on the phone with our manager for weeks.
For fun, for jokes.
I don't know why. I can't describe why.
It's quality time. It's time well spent.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
So you guys live in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything still connecting you with your bilingual identity? I know you speak French amongst each other, but now like having children and stuff, do you raise them bilingually? Like, is that an aspect that's important to you in day-to-day life, or do you not mind that it's kind of not as big a part of your life?
You're going to see both sides here. For me, my wife is from California, and I have not been a good French-Canadian father in teaching my kids French. And does it bother me? Not really. Do I think it would be nice? Yes, but I understand that there is a really large commitment as a sole-speaking French person in my family to handle that role. Personally, I didn't take on that role, and I didn't put in the work for that. Is there a part of me that regrets it? Maybe a little bit, but at the same time, it's just not me. And on the other side, Chuck has put in all the work to do that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's interesting. I never really thought about French Canadian like identity. It was just sort of who we were until I had my kid, and then all of a sudden that it became super important to me that he would speak French, and so he goes to a French school, and I've been speaking to him in French since the moment he was born. I never spoke to him in any other language ever. So yeah, it's I feel like now that I'm away, we go back and spend our summers there, Christmases, like vacations and everything. So I don't know how it's going to evolve over time, but just was the way that I wanted to do it. So yeah, all works out.
I think probably one of the reasons why it ended up that way is also because Chuck was raised in a family where his family would never speak to each other in English. He was raised in a family where both his parents are French-speaking, from French-speaking people. I was raised in a family, oddly enough, that my mom's from an English side, English Canadian, and my dad's French Canadian. So I grew up with both. I never watched French TV, and we would vacation in America every year. And I was the kid that would come back to my school with like a big shirt that said USA on it. So it's pretty, okay. Not ironic, but it's pretty funny that I ended up being, living my life in America and being in a family where we don't really speak French, but we still go back to my parents' house, and my brothers are there, and I'm still connected in that way. But as far as prolonging the French Canadian culture in Southern California, I have failed.
No poutines in your house.
Nope.
Got it. So I'm going to force my future children to speak German. Definitely. 100%.
Definitely. 100%.
You know what? We'll talk about it if you ever have children when we get there. Because there's so many things before you have kids that you're like, I'm going to do this. There's no way I would never. So right. Then let's see when you get there.
You're so right.
Yep.
No, I take it all back.
Because my second daughter, I was like, I'm going to speak to her only in French. And I did it until she could start speaking. And then I was like, it's gone.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, never mind. Probably you got me.
It would definitely help. But here's what I would think. If this is very important to you, it'll be a lot easier if you have the person who you have the children with, if you raise them together, if that person also speaks German. Because being the sole person that your spouse or boyfriend or whatever doesn't understand what you're saying to your kids, that's a little weird.
That is true. Yep. And I know, yeah.
Or not weird, harder.
Hard.
Yeah.
So maybe I haven't thought this through entirely, but
Let's go back to Simple Plan related questions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no more parenting talk.
No, we're like talking
Given
like
the fact I'm not a parent.
friend conversation. Welcome to the friend conversation.
Cheers. Ryan Holiday, for those of you who don't know, the Daily Stoic is a YouTube channel, blah, 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 probably also a podcast, and so on and so forth. Stoicism, like, is that something that you're interested in?
Yeah.
That's something that you kind of live by? And if so, like, do you have any helpful Stoic thoughts that you kind of live by?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super into it. I discovered him as a writer around, I want to say 6-7 years ago, maybe, and been reading his books. And then I've noticed on Instagram that he was a fan or a friend of Mike from MXPX, and I'm like, oh wow, he loves pop punk, and somehow we ended up connecting on social media. So it was pretty cool to meet him because I read his book. I think it's such an interesting school of thoughts and everything. So I feel like for me it came first from like meditating and everything, and sort of trying to instead of just reacting to everything, trying to respond, right? And instead of just being caught in whatever your first instinct or reaction is, trying to find a way to pause and really respond how you want to, and as opposed to just being forced into something just by your emotions. And then I read deeper into it, and I think it's super interesting. I think that to be in a band, a lot of times it really helps if you're able to just kind of say, hey, it is what it is right now. Like you don't want to be exactly where you would, in a perfect world, you'd be somewhere else, but you're here now.
That's driving you insane. Sorry, the door.
It's not the perfect setup.
It is what it is.
But it is what it is right now. If it's like, and if you're often away from people you love, and you're not able to do exactly what you would want to do every single day, but at the same time, it's find like appreciation in where you're at and what's happening, trying to be in the moment, trying to find gratitude, and also trying to realize that the obstacle, I mean, not to quote this book, but it is the way, like whenever like life, really the fun part of life is overcoming these challenges and trying to find solutions and trying to just kind of moving forward, understanding that it's not going to be an easy perfect road, but that's just part of the journey. So I think that's super interesting. I think it applies as a band member, and I think it's really helpful to, when your career has ups and downs, to look at that and realize that, okay, it happens, and we're going to get through it. Same thing with your kids, same thing with your family, same thing with your marriage, whatever,
I forgot that I didn't mention this. He came to see one of your gigs.
Yeah,
right?
in Austin. That's where he lives, and he came out to the Offspring Sum 41 Simple Plan tour. Yeah. And it was super cool. We got to hang out, and hopefully we'll do it again. He gave me a few reading suggestions, so It's been fun to have like that. I mean, I wouldn't call it a friendship, but definitely like a cool relationship.
Isn't that so weird? Like, because of what you do, you meet all these like random people, and they know about you or you know about them, and then you just, I don't know. It's pretty.
I think it's one of the coolest thing about being in a band is that it offers you. I think you have an interesting story. Anybody that you go anywhere in the world, you sit at a restaurant, it's like, hey, what, you strike a conversation with a stranger, and like, what do you do? Oh, well, here for work. What kind of work? We're in a band. Oh, you're in a band? Like right away, people are curious.
It's a hook.
Because and it opens up so many doors. People love the music, even if they don't care about the music. They care just about your experience, where you've been. You have a lot of stories to tell, and it's kind of like an interesting life. And it gives you a chance to really hang out with people that you would never have a chance to hang out with if you didn't have this job. So that's really why I think it's one of the biggest perk of being in the band, that you get to meet people that are inspiring, that are super cool, and somehow they're interested in you, which is kind of rad.
Yeah. So I haven't peeked at the set list. I know this is something that people like to do. I haven't done it because I like a surprise. And I now haven't seen you, since before the pandemic. Oh, wow. So I'm quite excited. I know that you have a lot of people to please in terms of set list. They want to hear the hits. People want to hear the whatever specific songs off the record, and you have to tour for harder than it looks. What are the chances that you'll ever, probably not on this tour, but that you'll ever play some really deep cuts live? I'm talking Crash and Burn. I'm talking Happy Together. I'm talking One by One. Don't Want to Think About You. Are those ever going to resurface, or are you going to keep them for kind of sound check? I
think it's kind of unlikely, and it's not that we don't want to. It's just that we, you you want to satisfy the most people at the show, right? And there are some hardcore fans, and we do have some songs that are a little deeper that we come out. We played The Rest of Us the other day, which I don't know if that's considered a deep cut, but it's from our EP. On soundchecks we'll do Lucky One, or we'll do other things. Vacation, Grow Up. The ones you're specifically talking about, we have not really. Well, I don't think. I don't. It's unlikely. But the deeper cuts from the first album, I think we're playing probably, I can't make sure, but I think we're going to play almost in its entirety the first album at When We Were Young in Vegas this year.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the concept, I think. But other than that, yeah, we do pull out some deep cuts here and there. Those are extremely deep cuts. So, yeah, it's tough because there's a lot of people that come to the show for the first time. There are people that were there yesterday that we met at the VIP meet and greet that are like, I've loved you for 17 years. Oh, you've seen us before? No, it's my first time.
Wow.
So you want to play, you want to allocate enough time on the set for songs that they know and that they want to see. You're talking about I'm Just a Kid, Welcome to My Life, Jet Lag, Summer Paradise, newer singles. We want to play the stuff that the new album has too. So, and at a certain point when you're doing 5 shows a week, there's a time limit to how much you can sing every night, unless you want to just blow your voice out or bore people that are there to see the hits. So it's tough, but it is a good set list, and there are some deep cuts, and we'll try to put the ones that you like in there.
Yeah, we've been putting a lot of effort into trying to change it up every night. I always have 2-3 songs coming in, coming out, then it's tough. You're sort of stuck because you get people. I just read a comment hey, I was there last night and I loved the show, but I was so disappointed. You guys only played 3 new songs from the new record. And it's you should play at least 5, and it's okay, and then you hear the flip side of you should play the really old deep cuts, and it's just kind of how do you reconcile all the different opinions? We really try to do our best, but as we have more and more albums and more songs, which is a gift as a band to have more of a catalog, it becomes harder and harder.
It's because there are some songs that you just have to play.
Yeah.
And those, after 6 albums, there's more of them. So then your set is already an hour and 15 minutes, and you haven't yet played songs that, that you maybe want to play or hardcore fans want to hear. The best way to do it, honestly, is to come to the soundtrack party and then ask for it. Hopefully we know it.
Yeah, fair enough. It legit sounds stressful. And I'm sure that there's, I know how them Germans are. So they give a thing that I heard Shane Silverstein called it the review. After the show, they come up to you and they give you the review.
They're very honest.
Yeah, good show, but you should have done this and that differently. And you're like, thanks. Okay. Yeah, can't please everyone.
But hey, I think the reviews have been pretty good so far. So, Dankeschön. Yes.
Cheers. On that note, okay, big tour with Avril coming up. That's probably gonna be a pretty pretty cool.
It's gonna be awesome
thing, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be I think the fan base is gonna be amazing there, and I think that it's gonna be fun. She's awesome. She's got great songs.
Full circle, The last time we did that was 21 years ago, so it's kind of surreal that we get to do it again. It's kind of special to see that both acts or artists or bands or whatever are still relevant and still active and still touring and still can play these huge venues and sell them out in only a few days. So yeah, it's gonna be we're really looking forward to it.
Awesome. That's the collab I'm looking for, but let's see.
We'll see.
You sprinkle some the seeds in there, but who knows? Thank you both so much. This has been awesome. Have an awesome show tonight, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.
Juice.